And welcome to Hired the Podcast. My guest this week is the infamous Richard Rosner, aka the Staffing Shark. Richard, my friend, it's fantastic to have you here today.
What's up, my man? Hey, thank you for having me, brother.
Oh, my pleasure. Richard, for those out there in the world that are unlucky to not know you yet, tell us a little bit about who the Staffing Shark really is, deep at heart.
Oh my. So first off, the most energetic guy in the industry. I'm not going to lie. I back that up 100%. That's what it's all about. Just having fun. For me, being just one of them people, it's different. I'm going to tell you, Travis, straight up, in the last 2.5 years since I created the Staffing Shark, it's been just a lot of fun. I mean, I wear flip-flops all the time when I interview people. We just have fun with it. And I think that's the big thing that we'll talk about today. Engaging people, branding people. That's what I did. I branded my name. Nobody cares about the Richard Rosner, but the Shark. It's going to North America next year and nationwide. So it's awesome.
So there's got to be a story there. What happened 2 years ago that made you say, I'm the Staffing Shark. I'm gonna put that out there as my personal brand and really change the way that I'm perceived?
You know what, dude? You won't believe the story, man. So I'm sitting at the beach one day, drinking a couple land sharks, which, of course, it's fitting for that, right? So I'm thinking, okay, so I need a name. I need a tag name. Tagline, something like that. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm always in a hunt. I never sleep, and I drink land shark beer. I'm looking, shark. I like staffing. Before you know it, Staffing Shark. There it is.
There it is. So what's been the change? What have you noticed that has shifted in your world since you made that shift?
I think the biggest thing is with the branding is just the love that I have for the industry. You know, I've always had that love, but now it's on a big screen, you know, of caring for people. I always say, don't chase the money. You know, you chase the candidates will chase you. I mean, I really believe at the end of the day, it's all about having fun and seriously. And when you have fun and you're genuine, dude, the rest is history. I keep telling everybody about staffing. I'm going to talk about this today, Travis. I think we think too much. We got to keep it simple. We have all these ideas. The biggest person to ask is the job seeker. I always say that, think like a job seeker. And when you do that, I mean, they're going to come to you. They're going to tell you what they want. And if you supply that, I mean, there's nothing else you have to worry about.
Tell me more about that. What do you mean by that? That they'll tell you what they want.
Okay, so basically, I'm on the streets all the time. I love to interview job seekers. I post all this social media stuff. As you can see real quick, I don't post now hiring at all. I don't talk about that crap at all. It's all about being just, what can I do for them? And that's what I think we have to start going to. So when I talk to job seekers, I'm like, how did you find me? What made you connect on me? And they're like, your videos. Your picture of you on your Facebook is a picture of you, you know, with a cell phone on the beach. You seem real. You're not, you know, you have a million pictures of you shaking hands, hugging people, getting them hired. I want to be part of that culture. And when they see that, they're like, dude, this is not like you're just posting jobs. You're actually you're going to help us. And then what I do is, I mean, I'm going to tell you the biggest tagline that ever is the job agent. You know, I'm a Jerry Maguire. Show me the money, show me the job. I say this all the time, Travis. You know what? I don't recruit. I represent you. And when you do that, I mean, it's priceless.
So how do the right candidates find you? If you're not out there, if you're setting yourself apart by not posting jobs, by not branding the positions that you're looking for candidates for, how do you make sure that the right candidates are finding you?
It's just the word of mouth. So the thing is, with me, when I put my content out there on all social media platforms, if I can tell anybody out there, you just can't use LinkedIn. You got to use them all. I'm on TikTok. I'm on them all because there's a candidate out there on different sites all the time. But, you know, if you're looking for an engineer or something like that, and, you know, I tap into the societies. I don't go and just post and hope somebody comes back. I go after them. It's that hunt. You know what I mean? So, you know, you ask a couple civil engineers, hey, can you find me somebody? They'll work for you. Everybody that I get a job is now recruiting for me to find extra people. Mm-hmm. And then you build your pipeline. I mean, and then it keeps going from there to there to there. Before you know it, you know, you're in North America. Then you got people in the UK trying to ask you, hey, can you find people over here for me? So it's a real cool theory that I'm doing right now and concept that's so simple that I tell everybody about it. There's no secrets, Travis. I tell everybody what to do. I mean, I got two mentors in my life, you know, Gary Vaynerchuk, which everybody knows Gary V, you know, and Tony Robbins. You know, both of them, I study all their stuff. I'm on their team and I have mentors. So that's my two mentors in the last 2.5 years that has changed me in the staffing industry.
So let's put ourselves out of a job a little bit here. So What can
All right.
companies do to do what you're trying to do? How can a company go out there and get candidates excited in them as a place to come work? Because we all know the stories out there right now. There's 2 open jobs for everybody looking for a job. I mean, there is a dogfight for the best people to come and join the best companies out there. How can companies set themselves apart to engage and attract the best talent out there in the market?
I think the first thing is you got to be real, and then you got to listen to the job seekers about different schedules. If it's manufacturing, which you see my shirt on, I'm all about manufacturing. The bottom line is, though, people like that 4 days on, 3 off. You got to ask them what they want. And I'll tell you what I've been doing, Travis, is I've been going around to these companies I work with and switch their schedule up. They've been doing 20 years of the same thing, 60 hours a week. I got 4 companies in the last 2 months that converted to what I said. I'm like, just listen to me. Ask the job seekers, and they converted. So I think the biggest thing is for companies out there, they need to change their culture. We all say we're going to change the culture. It's not about giving gifts and giving stuff. It's about adapting to what they want. I'm a first believer. I don't give any referral fees out, ever, never, because it's about the experience, And I think that's what it's about, So if companies can do that, instead of just saying, hey, I'm going to give you a bonus, yeah, that's great. But ask them what they want. Adjust to the schedules. That's the biggest thing, schedules. Everybody wants work-life balance now. And if companies start doing that, dude, they're going to have so many candidates. Just look at Chick-fil-A. Did you see the thing on there now? 3 days, they're working like 12. I think it's 12 to 14 hours, 3 days, and then you're off the rest of the week. And they said they got 400 applicants in 1 week. So, if that works for Chick-fil-A, why wouldn't that work for any other industry? I think the biggest thing is we have to change, and we have to make it exciting. I always talk about, like my presentation, excite, engage, employ. There's no hiring events. When you go to a hiring event, what do? You sit behind a booth. Well, you know what? I only go to a couple a year, but when I do, there's music playing. I got a camera there to say I can do a video resume with them. I bring them in QR codes. I'm doing it totally different. I'm not giving them any, a stress ball or nothing like that. Why? Because when you meet with me, you're not stressed out anymore. I got you.
What was it? Excite, engage, enjoy?
Excite, engage, employ.
Employ. Excite, engage, employ.
That was my presentation all summer. I did it to 13 cities, and man, it's the 3 E's, man. If you do that, I'm telling you, they're going to follow you. They're going to come to you. And I think the biggest thing is we have to talk about is like social media. Travis, we everybody on social media, and I get this from Gary Vaynerchuk. Let everybody else share your information. If you see anything I put out there, it's not about me. It's about them. And they'll come to you. Like my Facebook page, it's about all my business. Everybody gets a job with me is now my Facebook friend. So guess what? They share all the information I post on there. So we're sharing and we're caring together. And we're building that culture right there. So why would I build it by myself? I build it with everybody else. And when you do that, and I think in our industry, seriously, we all try to do it ourselves. We all try to say, oh, well, you know what? We're going to build our own group and all that. Tap into other people's groups and just be part of it.
So that's got to be, I'm going to circle back a little bit. That's got to be hard for companies who they've had 3 shifts, first shift, second shift, third shift, maintenance and sanitation since Henry Ford. That's been the schedule. And it's been a shift, especially for manufacturing and in-person work. Because us in our cushy office jobs, we got the life with most employers at least being open to remote work from anywhere. There's no time clock. So long as the work is getting done, most companies don't care when you work, how you work, where you work. And it's a fantastic thing. But if you got to be on site, you got to be on site. I mean, there's no working remote at a plant level. So that's really interesting to hear that you're starting to get companies to adapt to 3-4 day work weeks, longer hours, so you can get the same amount of production. People can create the same amount of value for their employer. But there is more work-life balance. I forget why. I forget what the holiday was. Our office was closed for Juneteenth a couple months ago.
Gotcha.
And my kids still had school on Juneteenth. So acknowledge the day and celebrate the wonderful event, but I had the entire house to myself. It was amazing how productive I was to not have to think about work, to not have to think about parenting, and for people to have that ability. You talk about work-life balance. So much of our time, I think, especially as parents, I don't know if you have kids or not, but there's work, and then there's being a parent, and
Yep.
I love my kids to death, but those are two jobs. And
like 100%.
and where's the balance of self-care and taking care of your own individual self versus taking care of your job, taking care of your family? If more employers are giving people the freedom to take care of themselves, I think that's an incredible step forward in the evolution of work.
You're so true on that. And I believe that 100% mental health. I call it me, it's mental excitement, me day. It's just have a good time with that. But what I found out, getting back to the factory work is like, if they're there 8 hours, they just put a couple more hours in. 12 hours isn't going to hurt them. Then they get a free day off, basically, So it's like, it's a win-win. One week you work 36 hours, the next week you work 42. I mean, it balances out, And at the end of the month, you're only working 15 days instead of 20. So, I mean, and you're still getting the production done. That's the thing. They're getting the production done. Everybody's happy. Everybody's doing what they need to do, and we're not slaving on 6 days a week and all that good stuff. That stuff's gone.
Mm-hmm. So what are some other things that companies can do at the front end to really engage with the workforce out there? If they can get them in the door and they can listen to what the best candidates want and they have the open-mindedness to accommodate them, what can they do on the front end to start to engage that talent? Because it's so damn hard right now to hire people, especially if you haven't already built an employment brand. If you don't have a culture that people are out there finding and engaging, if you don't have billion-dollar internal marketing machines to put that brand out there, what can companies do now? And maybe it's nothing to attract the best talent now.
I think the first thing is, though, you have to have a bump scale. Once they come in, there's got to be something they can work for, incentives, different things like that. I think the first day they come in there, after the first week, what I do with my contract workers, ask them, what do you like and what don't you like? And then you start giving that survey and that feedback of, what's going on. If it's not, enough water or simple things like that. I don't have enough of a break. Maybe instead of 15 minutes, you give me 20, an extra 5 minutes, things like that. I think when you do that and you start asking your front line what's going on, they'll be more appreciative. And that's just like us in the staffing industry. I mean, I ask my recruiters all the time when I go into staffing firms, I ask the recruiters, I tell the owners of the staffing firms, I'm like, dude, you got to ask your recruiters what's going on with this, CRM system, the ATS, all that good stuff. So it's the same thing in manufacturing or any company. You got to ask the front line. Ask them every couple of weeks. Hey, is everything okay? And I'll be honest with you, Travis, I don't think they ask that because they don't want the bad answers. But I love bad answers because I can correct that.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's also not only asking the questions, but creating a fast environment of trust so that those new employees, those new team members, they're not scared to give honest feedback. I think too many times people are there's still that old mindset of, it's almost Stockholm syndrome, where the employees have become terrified. They become beholden to any employer willing to give them a job. And it's shifting a little bit. But they're terrified that if they would give an honest answer that was negative in some way or asking for improvement in some way, they're terrified that they're going to get looked down upon as a complainer, as somebody that's just trying to rock the boat. And they're scared to give that honest feedback.
They are. And we're in this day and age now where even like in our industry, if somebody says no, that's okay. We can accept that. And I think that's the biggest thing we have to accept now. It's okay to have, it's not bad information. It's information for us to gather so we can grow from it and learn. We have to listen and learn. That's the biggest thing with companies. If you listen and learn instead of saying this is my way or the highway, that doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the mindset is shifting, but I'm not sure how fast it's shifting because we're still running into the same issue with companies trying to hire people, that they have the mindset of well, if this person, let's get the candidate for as cheap as we can, or let's make sure that this interview process is incredibly thorough and that they talk to everybody. And if the candidate's not willing to wait, well, then I guess they just didn't want the job bad enough. And that stuff is driving me up a wall. We had I heard a story about a customer that candidate was in the interview process for 3 or 4 weeks, and they wanted him to fly back out for another interview. And the recruiter found out from the candidate, they had a good relationship, that there was another company that was showing interest. They were getting really close to making an offer, a company that we weren't working with. And the recruiter went to the company and said, hey, we got to move fast. There's a good chance that if we don't move real quick and get an offer out soon, if he's the one that we want, we're going to lose him. And the client, the hiring authority, had their assistant respond and say, sorry, he's been really busy right now, but he wanted me to tell you that good things come to those who are patient. And I just about lost my mind. That is, in this day and age, that is, I don't think that proverb stands very well.
Okay, so I got to ask you, so good things come, patience. How's this person getting paid every week? I mean, come on. We got bills to pay, right? Patience is not going to pay your bills.
Well, especially, he's got other companies showing interest. There's other companies that are going to make him an offer. And if another company is willing to move fast, identify a candidate as somebody that they're interested in, they're willing to show that interest and do it fast, what does that say about the process of working for a company? This other company that takes a month and a half to make one hiring decision, what does that say about getting anything done in the company?
Well, you know what I always say, within 48 hours, if you don't want my candidate, trust me, there's other companies out there, because that's what I do. I'm going to market that person at a bunch of places. My whole goal is to get that person hired and happy. So if it's not with you, it's somebody else. And I tell you, 9 out of 10 times, you got to put the pressure on them, and they're going to they come back with an answer. If not, sometimes if they wait too long and I say, well, it's gone, sorry, then they feel guilt. Then the next time they change their story. But that's a story where, Travis, some of them companies that I will say out there in the staffing industry, we got to say, I can't work with you anymore. I'm sure you're the same way as me. I turn companies away because I can't have my candidates wait forever. It's not worth it.
So what's an ideal company look like for you to work with? What companies listening to this right now, they want to know what they can do to be a great employer of choice and have the best candidate.
I think the ideal one is somebody that has passion, somebody that's going to work with me. We work together. I want us where I'm with the HR and the hiring manager, we can drop some maybe F-bombs. I'm going to joke about it because that means we're building a good rapport. If you don't like that candidate, tell me. And I'm going to tell you why I think you should interview that person. But I think it's a company where we can adapt together. We can change together, because at the end of the day, they need workforce. I'm here to provide it, but the workers have to be happy. So if we can put all of them together and just be a team and collaborate, I'm not stepping on toes, collaborate together, dude, you got me for life, man, and I'm going to bust my ass to get you every candidate you can have. So I think that's the biggest thing we have to worry about, collaboration now with people. We're not stepping on nobody's toes. Companies that just want to burn and turn, I hate to say it, that heartbeat body, I don't want no parts of that. I want somebody that when I represent them and put them there, they're like, wow, Shark, in about 2 weeks, I hate this job, which I've had that happen before too. Companies, I always feel like with our candidates, after a week or two, after I talk to them over and over, if they don't like that fit, it might not be the company, it might not be my fault, it might just not be a fit for them. So we'll try them somewhere else. But I always tell companies at the end of the day, man, you got to treat the candidate with respect. And Travis, one thing, I support my candidates 100%. Unless they're in the wrong, I'll go to bat for them, because you know what? You're not just going to get rid of my candidate because they didn't follow up after day number 2 or something like that, and we see it all the time. They're like, well, this person might not be a fit. You don't know till you got to spend a week with them, train them. You might have to train them a couple of times over and over. Things just don't happen overnight, And I think a lot of companies, I'm sure you're aware of that, they just as soon as they put you on the assembly line, they expect you to have 100% production day one.
Well, that's the thing is hiring is a bet. I mean, the real interview process is a person's first 60, 90 days on the job, when you really get to live with them day in, day out, week after week, hour after hour, how much can you really, really know somebody after 2 or 3 hour and a half interviews? You can make the goal of the interview process is to make the best damn educated guess that you can. But it's a guess, it's a bet.
Dude, it's like a first date. You know that. It's like a first date. You don't know where it's going to go in a second date, right? It's like,
Yeah.
You meet him for three hours. You're like, okay, we chat a little bit. We got a little chemistry. Now, is this person going to work out or not? I mean,
yeah. And and when we've used the analogy before that when a company makes a candidate an offer, it's like they're asking them to marry them. And I think I'm starting to disagree with that. Is they're not asking them to marry them. They're asking, okay, do you want to be in a committed relationship? Should we shack up? Should we move in together? That's what you're asking when you hire someone. It's not till somebody's been there for a year that you're like, okay, this is the person that I am in love with. I want to invest in this person and really invest in our future together. And so, yeah, the interview process is the first couple of dates. You meet on eHarmony. Do they still use eHarmony? I don't know. I met my wife on eHarmony.
I have no clue.
You meet on a dating app. You go out to coffee. You chat over the phone a little bit. You go out to dinner, and then you decide whether or not you want to take the next step in the commitment. We've taken this dating analogy about as far as it can go, but I really think that's kind of what it's like.
It is. And you know what? One thing I got to say, Travis, I don't have competitors in my industry. I hate to say it. All the staffing firms around me, I love them all. I mean, if they're fearful because the shark's in town, that's a defense mode they're on. But what I found out, the candidates that come into my office, I had one come in today and he's like, I've never had this experience in my life. I come in, there's music playing, you're energetic. You run to the door and you greet me with a handshake, with a smile. You come down, sit down. There's no cubicle where we're taking a test like we're in trade class. He said, I was at a staffing firm a couple of weeks ago. They had shirts and ties on. They were very stiff. They talked to me for 4 minutes. The woman was typing and not making eye contact with him. I said, if I could say anything in our industry, you got to stop that. I mean, even if you're a company, you got to make eye contact with them. They want to feel loved. And if you're typing and doing all kind of notes while they're sitting there, they feel fearful that you're typing bad stuff about them. That's what they keep saying over and over,
That's interesting. So what can candidates do to make sure that they're finding the best companies, they're finding the best opportunities out there that are good matches for them?
I think the biggest thing with candidates, though, they got to be patient. But the thing is, though, I'm going to tell you straight up, I think they're going to have to use staffing firms more and more because we are the backbone. We're going to represent them. I mean, when they go into a company by themselves, they have to look at all these things that we already know, that we can say these are caution flags or these are good. Is this going to be a good fit? So I think the more that they spend time with us and we can nurture them on, when you go in, is this something you want? Do you like the hours? Just don't worry about the pay. I think if we start teaching more of our culture like this, it's going to be a win-win for the job seekers. But I'm going to tell you straight up, 2023 prediction, more staffing firms are going to be used more than ever. I've had companies that never used staffing before in the last 2 months are blowing my phone up now because they're like, I don't have the time to sit on Indeed all day and schedule 10 appointments and nobody shows up. So you do it for me,
Yeah, they don't have time, and it's harder than it's ever been.
So for us in our industry, this is like golden time for us to shine.
Golden time to shine, but it's not easy. I mean, we have had more challenges, more counter offers, more companies swooping in at the last minute. I mean, it's presented its own unique set of challenges these past 9 to 12 months.
Oh, it is. It's like a surfboard. I always joke all the time. It's like we're riding this staffing wave and we're going to keep riding it. You know what I mean? I mean, I think at the end of the day, as long as you get yourself a hardcore of people going to work every day, you're going to have your apples that just go away. But yeah, you're right. Every time we go into a situation, there's going to be some kind of obstacle sometimes, whether you're with the company or the candidate. And that's where we kind of have to go sit back almost like strategy and say, okay, how do we overcome this so this person can get hired? Because we don't want to walk away.
What's been the most unique thing that you've seen in this current market that we're in right now?
I think the most unique thing is probably keeping the candidate active, engaged. I'm going to tell you straight up, engaged, because they have so many different offers. They can have so many different things to go to keep them, especially in light industrial, where do they go? I mean, they can bounce for a penny more somewhere else. So how do you keep them engaged, active? I think it comes down to one thing, heart and soul. I'm going to tell you straight up, Travis, there's people that will not go to another agency, and it's not just because they're like, dude, you treat me like real. You're a real person. You shake my hand. You text me at 8 o'clock at night and say, how was your first day from your personal cell phone? This is you. And, I take a little bit of time out of my day, and I do that stuff, and I recruit on the weekends. I mean, I tell anybody, weekends are the number one thing to recruit from 10 o'clock to noon. You call 10 people, you get 8 people on the phone. And you know what? They're looking for a job. It's a great thing. So I think the biggest thing is we always say we're going to engage them, but let's engage them the right way, like they need to be treated. That word engage is great. We put it out there, but do we really engage them the right way? And I think it's just like you got to bring them into your family. And when you do that, I mean, they're not, you're going to have some people leave you and stuff like that. But when you start taking pictures with them and you start branding them with you, you're doing it together. I mean, in fact, you know what I do on my social media, and I tell everybody this all the time. You take a picture with every person you hire. I call it the Shark Shake. You put your logo on it, boom. They share it on all their social media platforms. Before you know it, you got 8 to 10 referrals after 2 hires. So there's your pipeline. You'll have 100 people. You won't have to worry about spending $30,000 on a job board. I mean, that's a supplement. And I really believe that if anything changes in 2023, we got to stop relying on job boards 24/7 because I think that's what we do now.
I think a lot of people out there, I feel bad saying it, but yeah, we haven't had a job board that we've relied on in, I don't know, at least 5 or 6 years.
That's good. Don't you agree? We have to scrub our candidates we have. I always tell when I go into staffing firms, I say, you know what? You have 5,000 people in your database. Let's see how many come up out of the grave. If you get like 50, that's great. Scrub that thing. I think some people just say, oh, I have 10,000 people in my database. Well, how many are dead? Let's try to find that answer because that's money that you already paid for that you can still try to bring up and you see if they can work. And I think the biggest thing is, though, and you know this, you give everybody a second chance here. If they don't show up for work, there's a reason. Maybe they don't have a car. Maybe they don't have enough gas money. That's where that social service field that, because I used to be a probation officer. Nobody knows that pretty much. But, for 10 years, I was a juvenile probation officer. So I treat that with my candidates where I have that social service thinking all the time. Like, they didn't show up for work. Why? What happened? And I tell them all right off the bat, if you don't show up for work, call me, tell me, give me an advance notice because if you don't show up, I look like an ass and then you look like an ass. And I say straight like that. I keep it real with them. And 9 out of 10 times, you have a couple bad apples. They'll say, dude, Shark, I can't make it, 5 a.m. So that gives me enough notice to give the company notice that you can't make it. And I'm like, what's wrong? Oh, I need gas money, I need this. And then we work on a plan to get them the money they need. So I think at the end of the day, we are social service workers. You probably agree on that now. It depends on where you're at. And it could be any industry. It could be engineers. I see engineers right now. They're like, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. So it's just not the light industrial industry. We're in that survival mode. So we have to think that way with every job seeker.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know what are some of the other similarities between your early career in as a probation officer and working in this industry now. What was that transition like, and what are some of the other lessons that you've carried over?
Yeah, I think for me, the biggest thing that I carry over in a transition is just, I can't keep saying it over and over again. Be yourself, and then you know what? Everything else is going to follow. I keep saying this over and over again, and if I could tell anybody else out there, this stuff is so true. Look at me. I'm seriously. I'm going to UK next year. It's like, why? And it's not because, it's maybe because I have a swag, because I'm confident. And I think we all have to be confident. There's a difference, Travis, between cockiness and confident. When you're confident and you can love everybody around you and not have a jealous bone in your body, seriously, and I talk about this in my speech all the time, it's that Tony Robbins theory. People understand that. They know the positive magnetic force. When you come in a room and you control with positive energy, it's with job seekers, it's with candidates, it's with our peers. They love that. We all want to laugh and we all want to have fun. Yes, there is struggles, but there's always a solution to everything. There is. And I think that's true. We have to think it through. And I think in our industry, sometimes we don't think it through. We make it more complicated than it is. With all the technology and there's a tech stack and all that, what do you get? You only need a couple things and then you add on. grow eventually. You don't have to grab everything at once and then grab it. And I think sometimes, I hate to say it this way, but a lot of recruiters, they like new candidates all the time. All they worry about is new on Indeed. Whatever the new candidate is, that's who I want to call. Mm-hmm. What about the rest of your database you forgot about? What about Johnny and Sarah that you haven't talked to in a month? They called you a couple of times and you never got back to them. I hear this all the time. Every time a job seeker comes in and says, "Did you ever work with another staffing firm?" Yep. I text them 3 times, they never call me back. I'm thinking, that's great for me, but it's like, come on, other guys in the industry and women, call your candidates back. And I see it all the time. I don't know if you see it with some of your competitors, but they come in and are like, I just want somebody to call me back and tell me what's going on with my job search.
It's one of the worst feelings out there for a candidate. It's the biggest complaint about recruiters is that they'll hear from a recruiter and then never hear from them again.
Bingo. You know that. And that's why I don't like that word recruiter. That's why I call myself a job agent. I tell them, dude, I represent you, man. I don't recruit you at all. You want to go recruit? You go down the road to the ABC staffing firm. I'm here to hook up with you forever. You go through this job, you need a new one. And when you have that mindset with them, I don't care if, like I said, I have engineers going to work and they're like, dude, they're like, they call their friends and it's like, I get texts that says, check out the job agent, reach out to him. They never done that. They're like, oh, check out the recruiter. They don't care about recruiter, but when you say you're a job agent, you're representing them, they feel important. See what I mean, Travis? We're going into that positive mindset with them. Little key words like this goes a long way. And then some guy a couple weeks ago, or maybe a year ago, called me America's job agent. So that's what I put on my tagline. I'm America's job agent. He said, you can find me a job anywhere in the country because if I can't find you something, then I'll call you, Travis, in Chicago or wherever and say, hey, here's a candidate. Can you find him something? You know what I mean? We share. And I think that's the biggest thing that we need to do in our industry is to share and don't expect anything in return. I mean, yeah, you can work out some kind of partnership, but there's enough business for all of us out there with companies and everything. So I think if you have that mindset that I keep saying over and over again, I mean, I'm going to tell you, I don't work anymore. I have freaking fun with it. It's fun. Every staffing firm I go into has been positive. I've been doing this for 12 years and have never had a negative year. I've grown in every company I've been at. And is it because me? It's because all the people I surround. I bring the best out of everybody. And I think that's what we have to do with companies, recruiting, everything. Bring the best out. Be a coach, but we want them coaches where you're active with them too. I mean, I got a full desk. I'm doing business development. I call it consulting. I don't sell anything, I'm just doing consulting work with them and trying to add to the supplement to their workforce. I'm doing the job agent thing, I'm doing the speaking. So if I can do all this stuff, everybody else can too, And I think that's the biggest thing is I love, if I stepped away from the recruiting part and the business development, then I wouldn't know what I'm talking about. I love that every day, that grind. And I'm sure you do too. I love it. I love bringing candidates in and hearing their stories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at this point, I don't know how you could step away from any aspect of it, especially because you've built such a great brand for yourself. And I know that sounds a little hackneyed to say you've built a brand when you're just being yourself. But I think there is it's worth it for people to take some conscious time to think about the brand that they're building for themselves, what they're putting out there. And so what can candidates do? What should candidates do to build their brand as a great person to go and work for an organization so that you or other staffing agencies or search firms or companies, internal talent acquisition teams, that when they're looking for someone, there's a couple of candidates that have done a really great job of building their employment brand that really, really stick out in the market as people who are experts in their field, and they're getting reached out to by companies and talent teams all the time.
I think the biggest thing is though, besides being yourself, you got to be a little bit different. I know I always say this: be you, be different. That's one of my taglines all the time. I think find yourself a little bit of a tagline. If you're a civil engineer, call yourself something. It's okay on your resume to put some of this swag out there. Our resumes don't have to be boring anymore. I mean, have some fun with it. Put some character to it. I'm going to be a firm believer. I think anybody that in the industry should do a video resume. I love the 2-minute video resumes. Companies down here in West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Ohio are loving it now. I mean, a 2-minute clip like American Idol, boom, in and out. And that last 15 seconds, 20 seconds, I teach them like American Idol. Tell them what's in it. Look in their eyes like you're the president of the United States and say, hey, this is what I can do for your company. I can't wait for you to call me. and bring that voice tone out, it's a win-win all the time. So I think at the end of the day, you know what? Just don't put down I got an education, I did this and this. People want to know your hobbies too. You know, if you're an Eagle Scout or if you're this, put that out there, but be proud with it and put some, examples. I mean, we want that. I mean, a college degree only goes so far, Travis. We know that now. You know what I mean? It's me and you growing up. It was like you either go to college or the military. That was it. Now it's like there's so many other options. Trade schools. When I speak at these different high schools, I always say there's niche. You could be a baker. You can be, electrician. And they'll pay for everything. The trades are the way to go right now. If you're business savvy and you get an HVAC degree, hell, within two years you could open up your own and make all kind of money. I mean, so it's really what you want to do. I love how people say, you know what, well, I want to make my parents happy. At the end of the day, I say, you know what, make yourself happy. And I think that's where that candidate is coming in, where, you know what, don't follow anybody else's footsteps. If you have somebody help you with the resume, make sure you have input on it. Just don't have somebody that you pay to write you a resume and say, this is what's going to work, because it's not your words. Put some of your words in. For me, I like to I sent you emails, exclamation point everywhere. You're like, holy shit, this guy's always got capital letters and all that stuff. But that's me. So whatever you like or whatever you do it in your resume. But make it creative too, I know some other countries, sometimes they put their picture on there, I know. So there's never a wrong way to create a resume. Make it where it's comfortable to you and put it out there.
Your exclamation points, my ADD brain, it's parentheses. I use way too many parentheses because I had this one thought and I'm like, oh, there's this little thought. It's a little bit of a tangent. It's kind of close. I'm going to put it right here, but it really has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. Way too much. But speaking of college and trade schools, I actually just read a report that said that 2023 is going to be a great year for graduating seniors. Companies are going to be hiring 15% more college seniors this year than they have in the past 4 years. And so the advice to the kids out there, people that are just graduating, what should they be doing right now to put their best foot forward at landing the best spot that they can once they're graduated?
I think the thing is experience. Right now, if you can do an internship, even if it's a volunteer opportunity somewhere, do it. If it's Habitat for Humanity, if you're in social service field, whatever you are, tailor something. Doesn't have to be paid. People like that experience. And I think the big thing is, put yourself on social media, but be clean about it. I tell so many students out there, watch what you put out there. The spring break stuff could kill you. You know what I mean? I mean, it's, thank God we didn't have that back in the day. We had MySpace, right, Travis? That's about it.
I wonder if my MySpace playlist is still floating out there somewhere.
Yeah, I think it is. You know what? Then we have a friend. What's his name? Tom. Everybody had Tom as his friend, right? The first top 10.
No, do you have any clue what the hell we're talking about? Do you have any idea what MySpace is?
My older sisters had a MySpace. I would look at theirs.
If they brought it back, it was actually, I liked it better than Facebook. I ain't gonna lie, because you could put your music on it, pop. It was high def. It was it was pretty awesome. But no, I think the students now, I will say one thing about the Gen Zs, and you've probably seen it. I met a couple last week and I did some videos on them. They are the brightest, sharpest people around. If anybody says they're lazy, I'm the first 100% to defend. No way. All they want is they want you to listen to them. Am I right?
Gen Z is going to save the world. I have no doubt.
Yes,
these kids are amazing. They are passionate. They are bright. They work hard. They're going to solve the climate crisis. They're going to solve economic crisis. They're going to create. They all like everybody too. They want to get along with everybody. World peace.
Yeah.
20 years from now. Once a 25-year-old gets elected president in 20 years, they're going to save the world.
They are. And then you know what? And I talk to them all and I say, just listen to us. You don't have to take everything, but listen to us. We want to be loved. And they still like the face-to-face. Everybody says, oh, Gen Z's want to do everything virtual. No, they want to be face-to-face with you too. They like the embrace and the hug, the fist pump and all that stuff. They're so smart. They're beyond something that me and you probably never had, because I still remember 18 years old, I'm looking at the World Book Encyclopedia still, trying to look at what the states were, and now these kids are like, they're 5 years old and they know everything about everything. So it's exciting times. But what they want is they want something, they're hustlers. They like to do side gigs, which is great. If it's social media, whatever, they always like to hustle. That's one thing. But at the end of the day, they want something for passion. So companies out there, if you want to hire Gen Zs, I'm going to give you one tip that they want. They want somebody that's going to care about them. They want somebody who has passion, somewhere they can grow, and just listen to them. That's all they want. Listen to us. We're going to tweak it. We're your future workforce. Whatever you've done back in the day is great, but we're willing to transition with you. And if you do that, I mean, they'll be your best friend. They'll be your best allies. They'll bring you a million candidates too. I mean, because that's how they are. Every Gen Z knows somebody else looking for a job, so it's a great, I can't wait. I mean, the next 10 years are going to be amazing for our workforce.
Well, I think that seems to be the theme of the conversation there, Richard, is just listen. He asked about what can companies do to attract the best candidates? They can listen. What can companies do to attract Gen Z? Listen. What can you do to find the best job out there? Go out there and talk to people and listen to what they're offering. And if we all took that advice and just a little bit better job of listening to what people are saying to us and not waiting to talk, how much better would we all be?
That's it. Here's the secret. Just zip it and listen.
Richard, thanks a bunch, man. I really appreciate it. The Staffing Shark. Anything else you'd like to add, sir?
No, I thank you for coming on and having me on the show, man. I'm blessed. I want to thank everybody out there. Anybody that supports me, I love you all. Seriously, I do that, Travis. You know, I'm the full 100% man. I carry the passion of staffing on my sleeve, man, and it's exciting. So anybody that needs to reach out to me and just have a staffing chat, give me a call, man. I'm always here to chat about the industry, and we can work this out together because we're all a team in this industry, Travis. We're all a big family. I always tell people that if you're part of ASA, if you're part of NAPS or whatever, we're all big family. And at the end of the day, it's all about having fun. So if you guys have a chance, it's easy to find me. All you have to do is look up Staffing Shark. I'm there everywhere, man. But I love you all. Hey, anything I can help, let me know.
Richard Rosner, Staffing Shark. This has been Hired the Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Check us out wherever you get your podcasts. Please make sure to like and subscribe if you're not doing that already. We got a bunch of great episodes coming up here soon in the next couple weeks, couple months. Big thank you to our producer, Noah. Noah, you've been great. Richard, thank you so much. Talk to you soon, my friend.
Take care, my man. Stay safe.